Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. It is 6:07 in the morning here on Tuesday, June 14th. 61 degrees, heading up to 76 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. And now we turn our conversation to Mark Cunningham and Noelle Lotano, and they're going to talk to us about gun control this morning. No, that's not true.
I did a lot of prep for gun control.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? All right. Well, maybe we'll get to that in the fifth segment. We're going to talk a little bit. Actually, Noelle is the CEO of the Greater Toms River Chamber of Commerce.
I am.
You are. Mark Cunningham is the chair of the Economic Development Committee of the Greater Toms River Chamber of Commerce. But we're not really talking Chamber of Commerce per se, but we are talking about the arts in downtown Toms River. And specifically, we're going to start by talking about the listening room. So, and the listening room was a concept kind of co-created by a couple of folks, but two of the co-creators are sitting before me right now. So why don't you tell everybody, what is the listening room all about?
So, Jeremy, thank you for having us this morning. Mark came to my fiance Dominic and I with an idea, a concept several months ago, probably 8 or 9 months ago, that he had some creative thoughts about. And he came to us with this idea of bringing people musically and visual artists, together in a creative format in downtown. And we just thought it was a great idea. So together with the Cunninghams and the Clinches, the Carinos came together and came to the listening room.
So from the word go, it's just been a pleasure. I think as a recent mover to Toms River, I thought it was something that was missing. If I wanted to go and see a gig, I had to go elsewhere. And I knew there were a lot of creative people around. And I knew there were a lot of people, or we guessed there were going to be enough people to come and be our audience. And it went, from the word go, it went really well. When you're onto a good idea, when every person you ask to help is like, yeah, I'd love to help with that.
Right.
So from the word go, it just went very well.
So when you say moved here from Toms River, I mean, the accent is what? That's like Hoboken? I mean, where is that from?
A little bit further away, Jeremy. I'm from Tullamore in Ireland. Here on and off for 15 years, but here permanently 3 years. Married a Toms River girl that you might know.
Yes.
Tara. And it's a great place to live. But this tiny little piece was missing. If I wanted to go and see a gig and see quality, maybe the people weren't coming here. So that was one of our primary aims, was to get acts who wouldn't ordinarily come to Toms River to come, and then match them up with a local artist, because there's a lot of local talent. It's no matter what way you look, either in visual art, in music, there's so much talent around us in Toms River. There's so many people who've been fostered by our system to have outlets, but not maybe through school and so on. But then when you get older, there's not as many clubs or places to play.
So tell me about the venue. I mean, where are we? What are we? Where is this? Where is this listening room you speak of?
So we are actually working with Zarita Maddox, who is owning and operating One Flight Up, which is above Mean Bean on the corner of Washington Street and Main Street. She's been incredibly generous with her space. The space is perfect for what we need it for. It's perfect for all kinds of events, actually, but in particular with our music and visual, the space just lends itself perfectly. So we've done it every 2 months since November, and we'll have another show coming up in August.
Correct. Yeah.
How many folks do you fit in the? How many folks are coming typically?
Anywhere between 60 and a little over 100 every time we do it.
Really?
So it's a social type of evening. We open our doors an hour before the first act. So it's usually at 6, or if we do it on Sundays, the doors open at 5. And for the first hour, people come, they bring food, bring some wine or beer, meet their friends, have a chat. talk to our visual artist, who's usually circulating at that stage because they've put up some of their work and are happy to show it off. And then the first act kicks off. There's about a 45-minute set, break for half an hour, and then the main act goes on and plays for an hour and a half or so. And it's, as the name suggests, it's the listening room. So we're finding that the acts that come, the artists that come, feel extremely appreciated. They got this great big Tom's River hug when they come in because people are so respectful. We have, so if you're interested in coming, that's the sort of people we want to come, who are going to sit there and give the artists their attention for whatever it is, for their set, for 45 minutes, for an hour. And it's really just been creating a very special vibe, as they would say in the business. People leave going, wow, I would have done that for free, because it was
yeah, well, that's the other part, is that the space is wonderful for us locals who want to participate and hear music and see the visual art, but it's also this tremendous format for the artist there as an outlet, as a great place to play. I think almost every one of our local artists has said that they actually started at an open mic at the Java Joint many years ago when the Java Joint was here. They started there, so they're so happy to be home and playing for their community, which is great.
Yeah, and there's a lot more things happening down in Tom's River, in downtown. This is just something that Noelle and Dominic, her fiancé, soon-to-be husband, started with Danny and Maria Clinch. So this is our little project, but since we started to do this downtown, we've noticed a lot of other things happening. And there's an open mic again downstairs in Mean Beans. I think it's on Tuesdays. I'm not 100% sure. Sorry that I don't know the exact details. Then there's Andrew Santoro, does one every second Saturday. Like, these things weren't happening even a year ago. Right. I don't think these things were happening. So there seems to be a little bit of a cycle happening at the moment where people are starting to do things downtown, and it's nice to see.
Cool. So people bring their own food, bring their own beer and wine, right? So it's kind of like it really is kind of like a little home kind of get together. Kind of jam session, right? Yeah,
the concept is more and more people are doing house concerts lately. It's a nice outlet for acts to do. So if you're playing a gig in New York or you're playing in Philly, we're not that far away to do another night. All our acts are welcome to stay with one of us, get a home cooked meal, get a little bit of respite from the road. But then, as I mentioned a couple of moments ago, to get that feel of an audience that is really interested and really engaged with them. That's why artists and musical acts in particular do what they do. They want to create that live feeling. I think that's what gets them out of bed in the morning. So to see that happening in Tom's River and doing it with friends and family and everybody coming together, it's a nice experience.
Okay.
So if people are interested in coming to the listening room, the best thing to do is email the following if you have a pen. It's listen.tr@gmail.com. That will get you on the list, so to speak. And when we do one of these things, so as Noelle said, we've been doing them roughly every 6 weeks, maybe every 8 weeks. We only do one when we have an artist that we think is good enough to come and headline for us, which is it's tough sometimes to get people and time and everything together to make it all work. But if you'd like to be on that list and be notified when we do a listening room, if you think you'd like to be part of that community that gets together and pops up once every 6 weeks,
right?
It's listen.tr@gmail.com.
Right, or you can come into the 21st century and go on Facebook and just look at the listening room.
Listening room.
Yeah,
you can indeed.
You can. Yes, I'm just saying. I mean, it's but Mark, I want to when we come back. By the way, nice job skipping 2 segments ahead to the promo. Right,
we can do it again later. That's fine.
We were your promo, because we usually wait for the promo until after you get your magic wand, and there's so many other things to go before that. But I like how you're you're like it's like Glenn Ross over here. Always be closing. When we come back, Mark, specifically, I want to understand what your background is. That because you're not like an artist by profession, right? You actually do something else that actually helps you earn a living. But I'd like to know where your background is on that. I'd really like to understand what the vision is, kind of as we move down the road, and maybe we can even talk about how we reimagine downtown Toms River with the listening room as part of that. Is that okay?
Sure.
Cool. Noelle Lotano and Mark Cunningham talking downtown Toms River and the arts. Back with more Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin after this.
Get more Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin at our website, WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. We are back with Noelle Lotano, who's texting. We'll just wait till she's done. Okay, she's done now. And Mark Cunningham. That wasn't awkward at all, right? That was no pressure, right? That's what Zach does to me every morning as he stares at me as we're just about to come back on mic. So, Mark, your background, because you're and I'm sorry, Noelle, but Mark is like the he's one of the creative minds here. You're well,
I'm just
anyway.
along for the ride.
Yeah, no, you're the go do person. You're like the let's go get it done. So Mark, this is not your vocation per se, right? Because you have a job.
Of course, yeah. My day job, I work at Merrill Lynch. How would you put it? I help people I like invest their money wisely.
Right.
So that's.
What if you don't like them but they pay you? Do you still help them?
Well, no, that's the nice thing about it's your own practice within Merrill Lynch. So you tend to work with people you like and that you like what they'd like to do with the money when you help them make it.
Understood. And, okay. So then what? So the music piece, where does that come from?
Well, it's from my family. My dad was, and his brothers were all very successful businessmen, but they also had a band. And then on my mom's side, my nana played, and my nana played fiddle, and my granddad was a extremely good button accordion player, which is.
Wait. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. There's a lot of ways to go here. First of all, I just want to make sure, because I fiddle. Now, when you say fiddle, you mean like a violin, right?
Right, but a violin is played by a classical musician. Right. A fiddle is played by a folk musician. So,
but they're the same thing, aren't they?
They are, but that's your.
Okay, I just want to make sure for those trying to keep up at home. I just want to make sure. Now, then you said something. Did you say button accordion?
Right. Yeah. Which is not everyone's favorite instrument.
What in the world is a button accordion?
So it's like a small accordion. It doesn't have the keys like a piano. So there's 10 buttons on one side and maybe 24 on the other side, and as you push in it plays one note, as you push out it plays the other note. And my granddad could play it so fast. He was very well regarded and well liked traditional musician.
Gotcha.
So in Ireland, traditional music is everywhere, and I guess just music's a huge part of our life in Ireland.
So just to review, the button accordion has buttons instead of keys.
Yes, I was explaining that when you were looking.
I got it. But touche.
And it's smaller.
So you can be more quick with it, I imagine.
Yes.
I've only seen the accordion Weird Al plays, so
in order to keep up with the fiddle, you have to be able to squeeze your accordion.
So it's
quickly.
A fiddle and a button accordion. Okay, so your family had a background in music, so you grew up around music, and so this has just been a passion for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And now, and so you came here. You married a Toms River girl, and here you are, and you're like, oops.
Not at all.
No, I don't mean oops. I don't mean oops. You married Tara. I mean oops. Like we don't have there's this small void here where we need to bring some cool music and art to this neck of the woods.
It wasn't that much of a shot in the dark. I met so many nice people, and when I moved here, and I could see that people would go out to gigs, and just north of here, 20 miles, there's Asbury Park, which is a mecca for musicians. And it's great to live near Asbury, but I knew that there had to be an appetite in Toms River for something like this. So we, if you build it, they'll come kind of idea, and thankfully they did. And I guess we're here this morning because we'd like more like-minded people who appreciate music to come out and share this room with us when we do it. It was something that we just talked about, and we felt like there was a gap.
Very cool.
And Noelle is just as much of a creative force in all of this.
Oh, absolutely.
As all of this.
We all know that.
It's a partnership,
So when we come back, I want to talk about vision, right, going forward. And then I want to give you, of course, both your magic wands. And this is your second magic wand, Noelle. But this is going to be an arts-flavored magic wand, so you're going to have to use it that way. And then we'll give you an opportunity to plug, the email address or the Facebook page if you want to do that when we come back.
Oh, we can do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as I'm in control. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, Mark Cunningham, Noelle Lotano talking about downtown Toms River, the listening room, arts, all that good stuff. Back after the news. Hang out.
The news never stops at WOBMAM.com. Get the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, News Talk Radio, WOBMAM 1160 and 1310. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 6:33, Tuesday, June 14th, 61 degrees, getting up to 76 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pop app and WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. Yes, in one breath. Mark Cunningham and Noelle Lotano joining us this morning, talking about downtown Toms River, talking about the arts, talking about the listening room. Mark, Noelle, what's your vision? I mean, what does this look like if you close your eyes and say, what does this turn into 5 years from now? I mean, where are we? What are we doing?
I know what I want to be doing. I want to be able to walk downtown. I live downtown, and I like to walk downtown, and I do every morning. But I want to see things happening outside, inside, upstairs, downstairs, all day, every day. I really do. I want to be able to have options with my kids. I want to go shopping. I want to eat. I want to hear music. I want to buy crafts. And I want to see the water all at the same time. I'm really easy to please.
Right, clearly. And then, of course, you want a Christmas village.
I want a living Christmas.
Right.
And a Christmas village. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I think everybody would like to see downtown spruced up a little bit, and there certainly seems to be more things happening. So even some of the things Noelle just mentioned are happening. It's just we'd like to see them happen every day. And the arts obviously can play a large role in that, and business has to play a large role in that. And just all walks of life, utilizing this downtown space. I think there is an interesting conversation starting at the moment about how we reimagine downtown. And this isn't the only project that Noelle and I work on together with the Economic Development Committee at the Chamber of Commerce, which is maybe the business side of that conversation. And we've been having more and more discussions about how we improve our downtown and Toms River as a whole. I don't know, we're not here specifically to talk about it this morning, but keep your ears open. It's the first time we can say publicly that there's going to be a forum starting in late September called the We Are TR Forum, where we're hoping to bring out ideas from around our community, resources from around our community, not unlike what we did with the listening room. That was just about music.
Right.
So this is going to be more about whatever you are into, whatever you feel you have to offer, how you think you can improve our community. Once a month, we want people to come together and speak and find out how they might combine resources, and we all want to work together to make this great town a little bit better.
Right.
And, so watch the space.
Well, I'll tell you what I love about you guys, because talk is cheap. I had a boss who used to always say that talk is cheap. Right. You could talk about whatever you want. It's a matter of actually doing something.
Right.
Right. So we've talked a lot about that. And then you guys went ahead and said, well, let's start creating an event. Right. And by creating an event, maybe that will spawn the creation of other events. Right. Yeah. So if we continue to kind of use some elbow grease and put these things into place, then, at some point the fire will catch. Right. and we'll kind of have this. I know, was that a bad choice of that a bad choice of words?
Well, it's already catching.
I'm just saying, yeah,
it's already catching.
It's catching, but it's not.
On it.
It's not blowing. It's not like an inferno yet. I mean, we need.
Yeah, that might be a
how
stretch.
far?
Stop with the fire.
All right.
references.
Anyway, we're gonna move right along. Okay. So speaking of making things happen, it's that time, right, where we give you your magic wand. And I'm going to let Noelle go first because, Mark, this is your first magic wand. This is Noelle's second magic wand. And it's very rare that somebody gets to wish twice.
I wish twice.
But
so is
My
George
birthday.
Clooney or someone going to walk in here in a minute?
Yeah. So I'm going to give it to you, Noelle, first. What is it you're doing?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I have so many big ideas for downtown. Like I said, if I could wave my magic wand, there would be local people walking around, seeing other local people in their space, and reaching for their passions and running their businesses and that kind of thing. But ultimately, and I hate to say this out loud, but I would love to see. We were talking about this earlier. The TP Hotel turn into something really amazing. That would be a wonderful thing for Toms River. It's in a great space. It's not really living up to the potential, I don't think, at this point.
I disagree. I think it is something
No,
amazing
it's
right
not.
now, quite honestly.
It's not something amazing. But why can't we look at that and say, what could that look like in 5 years, and look at it as an avenue and an opportunity as opposed to just an eyesore at this point.
Right.
No offense, I hope.
No,
Not offending anybody.
I'm not offended at all. Mark, your wand?
It would have an arts incubator and a business incubator downtown, somewhere where people could share their talents, both musically and in a business context, to create jobs and paychecks and quality of life. Like we talked about this morning on a couple of different levels, that these things are starting to happen, but a permanent home downtown for people to come and get support for their business ideas, for the best business ideas from across America. I know Toms River was a place that could come to get that kind of support, and likewise in the arts community,
right.
for people to say, hey, I hear I'd love to play in Toms River, I'd love to do an exhibition in Toms River, because those guys are great.
Right.
We all know that. We live here. We know there's an audience for these things, but getting a state name for that, or a state reputation, or a national reputation for the arts and for business, that would be my magic wand.
Right. And I know we've already started. We have a retail incubator downtown in the Shops on Main, 53 Main, right?
Yeah.
So that was a good start, and we have some cute little businesses that are kind of finding their way there. Yeah. So if you haven't been there, you should really check it out.
And there are some new ones popping up downtown. So
that's right.
That'll be exciting next
That's
couple
right.
months.
And again, check this space, because Arts Incubator we get closer and closer to every day. Can't really talk more about that, but hopefully we'll have something to say about that in the next month or two. And of course, we have Brian Hanlon right now, showing off the sculptured workings of a genius, right, throughout, and it's larger than life, which is fantastic. Yeah. So, Mark, I know that you may be a little shy on this point, but can you maybe tell us where folks could learn more, how they could understand, like, what the listing rooms, where could they go?
That's a good point. If only we had an email address or a Facebook page.
Yes.
So so as I mentioned earlier, if you think that you'd like to be an audience member, or indeed if you feel that you're a local artist, as Jeremy just mentioned, we've many great local artists, and we have two national local artists, Brian Hanlon, who's currently exhibiting downtown. We've Danny Clinch, who's one of our co-curators and founders of the Listening Room. These are both amazing and highly recognized and highly decorated local artists, and they're involved. But we know there's artists at every level that have talent to share. So if you'd like to be involved in the Listening Room, if you'd like to be part of that community, email listen.tr@gmail.com or find us on Facebook. I think there may be some other listening rooms out there, but it should be relatively easy to find. Yes. Our one in Toms River, and please come down and be part of it.
Cool. And if you want, really, most importantly, if you are capable of playing either the fiddle or the button accordion,
then we love
fiddle or button accordion. That's what we're really looking for. So if you've got, if you can play both simultaneously, I mean, we're going to give you your own spots. I mean, you can. Yeah,
that's actually a good point to people maybe thinking, well, what type of music is there down there? So we've had everything from Thomas Wesley Stern, which are a bluegrass band from Jackson and Toms River. We've had solo singer-songwriters. It tends to lean more towards that end of the spectrum, as in to sit down and listen to a type of music. Our last act was blues. So we've all types of musicians, and we haven't gone with jazz just yet. It's probably the only American idiom that we haven't had, but we will at some point, I'm sure.
No plans for gangster rap?
Hey, listen, if they're good, we'll have them.
All right, cool.
I'm coming through.
It's said about music. There's nothing more boring than someone who just likes one type of music. But
exactly.
If someone's
the people
good,
who come aren't coming because of the genre of music or the musician themselves. They're being drawn because of the experience.
Exactly.
Which I think is a really wonderful thing, because I know this is not always your type of music personally either. I'm going to throw you under a bus right now, but you come every time we have
I come
one.
for the camaraderie, for the
right.
experience, and to just soak it all in.
Yeah.
And, of course, to spend time with my friends, Noelle and Mark. Thank you so much for spending some time with us in the studio this morning, bright and early, after a long night yesterday at the Chamber of Commerce. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Thank you again, and we'll be back right after this.